Hello, everyone. It's Friday. I'm Abby, and we're here with another episode of Live from Augusoft. Today, we're joined by Jared Siriba, our Security Compliance and Software Development Supervisor. And I have a couple questions for Jared. If you have any questions for him, feel free to leave a comment below. Let's go ahead and get started. Hi, Jared. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, Abby. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's weird to call you Jared because, usually we refer to you as Siriba. So
That's okay. I'm okay with that. That's fine.
Well, all right. So the first question we wanted to ask you is what are some security tips you have for our Lumens users?
Security tips. There is a lot of tips when it comes to security. First of all, I will approach it from the idea that we here at Augusoft take security very seriously because, we handle a lot of customer data. So we consider security a very important aspect in our everyday life here at work. So from that aspect, I'll kind of project that to somebody who is out there, either in the office environment or at work. I mean, working from home. And I know most people at this time with this pandemic are working from home. So I will try to give tips that probably are relevant to, being able to work from home, where we are likely to have less secure connections or less security measures in place. So the first thing I would probably talk about is just a general. I always advise people, just make sure that your operating system and any applications that you run on your machine are up to date, so that you cut down on vulnerabilities that can be exploited by cyber criminals. And just make sure that the auto updates are enabled so that you don't have to manually do it. That way, you keep your computer software up to date. It cuts on some of the malicious software that can bypass those vulnerabilities into your machine. The other thing I would say, we live in the digital era where everything is as smart. So we have smartphones, and especially kids growing in this generation, they like to use their parents' phones. Mom, let me have your phone. And then they are downloading all these apps. There's so many kinds of apps that now people use, the phones. So my security tip would be, some people take advantage and can, post fake apps out there on the internet. So just make sure you're downloading apps from sources that you are familiar with, probably, like the Play Store and the App Store. That way you are kind of assured that you're getting something that has been approved. And also, while you are there, try to download software that you see has good reviews and has many reviews, and as well that has a lot of downloads. Because if it's just like 10 people have downloaded that app, I'll probably be a bit skeptical to download that. And over time, if there are apps that you're not using on your phone, get rid of them. Just delete them. That way, you are reducing the risk on your device. The other tip I would say is on your machine at home, maybe you have pictures that you treasure so much. Take a backup of them. Get a hard drive that is external and uh, move them there, and make sure that drive is disconnected from your machine and away from the internet. So that should something happen to your machine, you have a backup of your files. Could be pictures or some other important documents. Um, the other important tip is we all have wireless networks at home. I think most people do wireless networks at home. Um, the first thing I would advise is make sure that the administrator password, the default one, is changed to something else. Um, that way you don't give room to somebody who is able to access especially your router. Just make sure that you change the administrator password from the default one. and use a better encryption mechanisms within that router just to make sure you are more secure. Allow only devices that you trust to connect to your network at home. For most users who don't know how to do that, I would advise, that they seek for help, either from the device manufacturer. You can call or go online to the manufacturer's website to seek for help on how you can configure your device, or ask somebody around. People, I'm sure most people know somebody who works in IT or is an IT expert of some kind. So seek advice from those as well. And then so always make sure that people who are connecting to your network connect using a password. Don't leave your network at home just free that people can easily get in. And then the other thing I like to do is I don't broadcast my network ID, not ID, but we call it SSID of your wireless network. I don't broadcast it. That way people don't get to see it. I would encourage people to do that, because if I see a network, like right now, if I pull up my phone, I see so many networks. I'll try to attempt to, connect to each one of those. And if I sit long enough, I can succeed in connecting to one of them, and I can do whatever I want with those devices. The other thing is to avoid connecting to public Wi-Fi's, especially when people are traveling, go to the airport. There's a Wi-Fi, it is free, and people are just connecting. You really don't know what you're connecting to. You could be connecting to somebody's hotspot, and that person could be a cyber criminal who is harvesting information. So when you are traveling, avoid usage of public networks for internet connectivity, especially if you are doing transactions that involve financial data or some personal information for that matter. I would avoid doing that. If I just want to browse CNN, maybe I could, but I'm not sure who I'm connecting to, because if I'm connected to somebody, that somebody can see what's going on my device. So that's another tip that I give to our people. There's another one that is very crucial. We call it social engineering. This is where people are trying to use tricks, either through talking to you or through sending you emails, in a way to confuse you and sweet talk you into giving out your personal information. We've seen this in a lot of places, in the office place. So I would give a tip that, especially for emails, be careful with emails. There are emails that look like they're legitimate, but they are not. I oftentimes have received emails that they seem to be coming from the CEO, but when you look at the actual email address, it's something else. So if you reply to that email, it means you have actually confirmed you exist, and then another email could come asking you for something else, and then the conversation can go on like a normal conversation without you knowing that you are actually giving out information to somebody somewhere. So be careful with emails, and double check that the email address that is coming from, it's a legitimate email address that you know. And sometimes when you see an email that's, which we say that if the deal seems to be too good to be true, think about it. And then they do send links in those emails as well. Some of those links could be links that have an attachment to it, or are linked to a website that will download software into your device. So avoid clicking links that are sent to emails, through emails to you from people that you don't know. Or there could also be attachments that come in those emails. Could be a JPEG image. Some of those are actually links to malicious software. So be aware of those. And in terms of social engineering, I also talk to parents, especially it's important to train even children at home on how they should respond to some of these things, because people get excited, kids get excited, they can just click on anything, or they go to any website. It's important to train also your children on safe use of the internet, and also giving information about the whereabouts of people at home. Same thing that happens in the office. Social engineering. Out of a case where somebody calls into the office asking for information about the CEO. And because you know very well that the CEO is not present in the office, the secretary will genuinely say, I'm sorry, the CEO is not in the office. And then the person on the other end of the line says, actually what happened is that somebody will be so genuine and say, oh, CEO is not present. He actually left for Miami, Florida. He'll be coming back on Monday. So you have given out information that shouldn't have. And then a few minutes later, you'll get an email saying, CEO is requesting you to do something. And because you know information that your CEO is out, you will respond to that email, not knowing that you actually gave out information that is being used to attack your organization. So that's something I would like to encourage people to think twice about when you're communicating with people over the phone, people that you don't know. Just be careful to give little information. The other thing is that we have passwords that we use everywhere, especially now in this digital era. We have a lot of transactions that we do online, logging into machines. I encourage use of two-step authentication for you to be able to log in. So two-step authentication could involve you having a password and maybe a text message being sent to your phone. That way, you have your phone with you and you can get that code and use it to log into your online account. And also usage of password managers. There's lots of passwords. Like I don't remember how many passwords I have to type into all these sites. And because of that, there's a tendency for people to use the same password over and over on multiple sites. So avoid using the same password on your multiple online accounts, because if someone has access to one of your accounts, then they can have access to the rest of your accounts, and that will be disaster. So maybe usage of password managers could be a good idea. That way you only have to remember one password, which gives you access to all other passwords of your accounts. There's a lot of tips when it comes to security. There's a lot of information to talk about, but in a nutshell, we just need to be careful about malware. Generally, the idea of having software that is meant to cause damage or to collect or harvest information. Have antivirus software installed on your machine. It is not the ultimate, but personal responsibility also is important. You as a person just need to be aware and be keen on what to do, because antivirus alone cannot save you or your machine from being attacked. So having personal responsibility and just being aware of all these things and combining them will make you safer on the internet and on your as well.
Well, those are all great tips, and I know that I will take some of those into use to make myself and my stuff safer. So thank you for sharing all that information.
And we have a blog. I think we started last February. There's a blog out there, one that has a few tips for whoever is interested. They can go to www.augusoft.net. And then under resources, there's news, and then you can go down to, I think February, sometime around that neighborhood, we posted a blog on a few security tips. So I encourage people to go there as well to just.
Yeah, I'll definitely, I think I've already read it, but I probably will check it out again.
Yeah.
All right, great. Also, just wondering what are some of your favorite activities that you like to do when and if you get the opportunity to step away from work?
Oh, that's a good question. The number one favorite activity is to do nothing. Just sitting there and doing nothing, I think is cool, especially after having a long day at work. Just sit there and do nothing. But anyway, besides the point, there are several other things I like to do. Uh, I like to bike when the weather is nice. Let me not be caught in the rain like I was recently caught with the rain biking. I think I was rained on for probably about 5 miles before I got home. It was just rain, rain. But I enjoy biking. Um, I like photography. I do enjoy photography, taking, I call it, it's landscape / nature photography. I like to do that as well. Uh, I like being behind the camera, not being in front of the camera.
Well, you're doing a great job in front of the camera, though.
So, yeah, I like being active in general. I do play tennis in the summer. Um, that's my favorite sport to engage in. Um, when time allows, I like to travel when time allows. I mean, there's more other things I like to do, but maybe those are the few that I can remember. I enjoy piano as well. Um, I like to play piano. I'm not a pianist, but I just like to have my fingers on the piano. Uh, Kind of refreshes me and keep me just something for me to do.
Yes, which
Yeah,
you're a great piano player. I learned that the other day. Oh.
yeah. So those are some of the few things that I like to do.
All right. Well, great. Thank you so much for sharing and spending time with us today. And just a reminder for everybody, if you have questions for Jared or anyone at Augusoft, feel free to leave a comment below or send us an email at info@augusoft.net, and we will respond as quickly as possible. Otherwise, thanks for joining. I hope everyone has a great weekend, and we will see you back here next Friday. Bye.
All right, thank you.